Signs of hypnosis. Now this can answer the question, how do I know if my client is in hypnosis or not? And how can I assess how deeply they're in hypnosis? The therapist wants to know this so that they can understand, do I need to do more inductions or deepeners? Or are there enough signs of hypnosis that I can move on to the next phase? It's useful for your client to see and understand the signs of hypnosis during the session so that they can realize I'm exhibiting a sign of hypnosis, therefore I'm going into a hypnotic state, and afterwards, so that they can say, I had a session and I was in hypnosis. I know I was because I exhibited some of the signs. So we can point out to them during the session what some of these signs are. And by feeding it back to them, it can help increase and deepen their level of hypnosis. The ultimate sign of hypnosis for past life regression or any regression hypnotherapy is that they were able to access long-term memories and emotions, discovering a causative event and being able to apply a therapeutic solution that can be a peace, a freedom, a forgiveness. That is the ultimate sign of hypnosis, that you're able to achieve your hypnotic goals through hypnosis. These are signs on the way that are more concerned with the hypnotic state itself, so we can feed back these initial, more physical, sensory, muscular kind of signs of hypnosis, so we can observe these ourselves, and maybe we just notice for ourselves, I'm doing this hypnotic induction, is it working, am I doing it right? And when you see a few of these signs in your client or your subject, you'll realize, oh, okay, yeah, I must be doing something right. So that can increase your confidence, and that can be just an observation you make internally, and that can help your state. So that can help you relax and know I'm on the right track. And it can help your client feel that they're on the right track when you feed it back. So you may just observe yourself, or you can say it out loud. So you can interact with your client. That's right. Your fluttering eyelids or the movement of your hands or that change in your breath indicates you're in hypnosis. You're doing great. So 19 signs of hypnosis in your clients can be the eyelids flutter, or beneath them the eyeballs move like rapid eye movement. You can notice eye fixation. So you ask them to fix their eyes on a certain point, and they're able to do this easily. Their eyes remain fixed on a certain point, and they're not wandering around. They have a focused concentration. So that's one of the definitions of hypnosis, and you can physically see that. Thirdly, eye tearing. The tear ducts can relax, so they can have water coming from their eyes a little bit. Fourth, eye rolling. Their eyeballs may move upwards and inwards. This can happen naturally, and we can give the suggestion for it to happen. So we can suggest that some of these signs happen, like I suggest you fix your eyes. So start doing some of the signs of hypnosis consciously. This helps lead them into hypnosis. The eyes can also redden. So after a session, you may point out, oh, the eyes are a little teary and red. That's normal. That's a sign that you were in hypnosis. They can notice facial color changes as the facial muscles and capillaries relax, and their cheeks can flatten out, their foreheads and their lips. You can notice little changes in the way they appear. 8, the body position can become fixed. There can be total muscular relaxation, so it feels difficult or too much trouble to move at all. Catalepsy is when our body's essentially paralyzed, and this happens to us in sleep. So if we're having a vivid dream about running, we may be running full speed in our dream, but our legs may twitch a little. So there's a paralysis that happens to prevent us from moving our body in response to the images in our dreams. Occasionally people will wake up and their mind wakes up before their body does, and they try to move their body, find that they can't, and then panic. It's simply that their mind has bet their body. Being in hypnosis can be very much like being in the dream state, but with our witnessing conscious still awake and in the background. It's possible your client may say, I can't move my body, but also not feel that that's a problem because they're not trying to. If they do try to move their body and start to feel concerned that I can't, well then this is just a natural catalepsy, the same thing that can happen at sleep. If they relax and wait a little bit, their body will also wake up and come out of the natural helpful catalepsy. Oftentimes it'll happen and people won't notice it, but if it does happen and they interpret it as being a bad thing, it's not, and you can just allow them to relax and for their body to catch up and wake up. 9, they can have delayed motor and speech reaction. So oftentimes you'll have a conversation with them and they'll be speaking at a normal or fast speed in the interview, but when you interview them in hypnosis, their voice might be slower and you ask them a question and then their response time is really slow. So for them, there can be a time distortion. They're not aware of consciously slowing down, but it happens. There's this delayed reaction. So you need to be patient. Sometimes you ask people questions and you think that they have no answer or they're blanking, but they do have an answer. You just need to be patient and give them an opportunity to give the answer. So 10, their physical reactions to external noise can be reduced. So you can mention this. If there are sounds that come into your hypnosis room that could normally be disturbing, you can give them the suggestion that you may be aware of that sound and hear it as if it's very far away, and you may be doing that naturally already. So afterwards, people might say, was there some noise during the hypnosis? It seemed distant. And you can say, well, yes, there was, but it was very close. And they can go, oh, that's strange. So you say, well, this is one of the signs of hypnosis that shows that you were in a hypnotic state. 11, spontaneous reactions. People's hands or limbs or feet can twitch, their head, or there can be eye movement. These can be just little twitches that are part of the automatic nervous system, just making a little movement. They're not done consciously at all. So we've seen all our suggestibility tests, like the finger spreading, they're spontaneous little twitches and moves. They can occur at any point. So if someone's leg does twitch, you can say that's okay. That's a natural twitch, which shows that you're in a hypnotic state. You didn't try to do that, but your body can move and you can allow that to do so. That's normal and fine. So 12, the breathing can slow and become rhythmic. So we'll start off suggesting that people slow their breathing and breathe rhythmically. We might suggest that at the beginning, but then you'll notice how people's breath changes. Now, it's also possible that people snore in hypnosis. It may be that they've gone to sleep, in which case you're going to need to wake them up and do some more hypnosis with them, because by going into sleep, they come out of hypnosis. It's actually quite rare that anyone would go to sleep. It can happen. The one thing is, don't assume that because they're snoring, they are asleep. You can snore without being asleep, so they can still have their conscious awareness, and you can ask them. And just make sure if they can respond to you to confirm if they're asleep or not. 13, their heart rate can decrease. 14, their swallowing movements can slow. 15, their body temperature can change. They often become sensitive to the cold. So it can be nice if you're in a cold environment to keep the room warmer than usual or to give them a blanket. If you're in a hot environment and you're using AC, then when you're doing the transition to start hypnosis, you can move the AC so that the room is going to be a few degrees warmer. 16, people can have a perception that the chair is moving, that they're floating, of lightness, or that the lights have been turned on when they have not been. Their perception of sound can become distant, and this can mean specifically that they tune in and out of your voice. They may listen to your voice and hear it being off in the distance. So both of these things they may observe afterwards and say, I was listening to you sometimes, but then I sort of lost you for a few minutes. Or did you start talking super quietly because I just couldn't even hear you? Or did you knock the chair because it was moving? Or did you turn on the lights halfway through because I just started seeing these bright lights? So if they observe and say this happened, don't be too surprised and just say to them, yes, that's normal. This is one of the signs. And again, it just affirms that you're in a hypnotic state. Well done. 18, emotional reactions can be enhanced. So we talked about the effect bridge and we said to our client, emotions are part of the subconscious mind. If you're emotional, it doesn't mean you're not doing hypnosis right. You should be calm. Allow emotions to come and go deeper into them. It's very hypnotic to have emotions in hypnosis. In fact, in hypnosis, your emotions will be enhanced. So go with that. 19, in hypnosis, we can have mental clarity that can allow meaningful or symbolic thoughts to arise or realizations to be enhanced. So this comes back to the core of the purpose of hypnosis. We can have all of these changes in our eyes and our face, our body position, our breathing, our heart rate, our perceptions, but it's all about tuning into our inner perceptions and working with our emotions to get clarity and realization that can move us towards a therapeutic resolution. So we can notice the signs build up from the physical through to the mental and emotional. So I'll just conclude with something on the word sleep. So a sign of hypnosis isn't unconsciousness or being asleep. And yet you're going to see in the inductions we can use the word sleep. And some of these signs, they've got REM movement of their eyes. They kind of look like they're asleep, but they're not asleep. So we saw that in our pre-talks as well. So we will use the word sleep sometimes, partly just for lack of a better word. I mean, there's actual sleep and then there's hypnotic sleep. So they're in a kind of hypnotic sleep where their body is really relaxed, but their mind is still conscious. But we still do use the word sleep. So when we do these inductions, we might have that as we press down on the hand and say sleep. So we have an overload and we have a word that we put in there which gives a suggestion. And it's partly just because it works. Somehow the subconscious understands what sleep means in the context that we're using it of hypnotic sleep. And a lot of these signs of hypnosis are the kind of thing that you might observe in somebody who is asleep and having a vivid dream. So in this case, their mind is active. They're going to have an awareness and are able to witness. So they have more consciousness than someone who's literally asleep, but they appear to be in a hypnotic sleep.